Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo.
Hello everyone and welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I am your host Stephen White, and with me as always it's Todd Stark.
Hello.
And John Taylor.
Hello everybody.
Guys, how are we doing this week?
Well,
Right.
John, you start. I'll let you start this week.
What am I starting?
You tell everybody how you're doing.
I'm good. Very nice.
That's it.
No
I'll let
bobcat
you-
attacks. We're
What?
good. No bobcat attacks.
That's nice. Nice. What? No dog attacks. No
I did
nothing?
see it though.
You ain't
He's living
seen it.
behind my house. I saw him.
You really
There is
didn't.
a really mangy
I
cat.
don't even know if there was a bobcat.
You weren't there. You just heard the story.
Every
And the
week
sound.
I put up with this.
All about bobcats, it's fun. So, guys, what are you playing this week? Anything new? Anything
Well-
worth mentioning?
I tell you, I've been playing Shadow of Mordor.
Trying to get the hype up for the new game?
Yeah, that, and I remember when it came out the first time, I played, I guess I played the first half of it, and then went to something else. I can't remember what came out at the same time. You know, same story with every game you start playing. It takes over 50 hours to beat. Something that you've been waiting for comes out in the middle of it, and you stop, and, hey, I'll go back to it. I got a PS4 Pro and started playing it again. So it's a really awesome game, man. I just forgot how good it was. That Nemesis system. Why has nobody copied that and used it in another game?
Don't know. Maybe they'll. I know that they said that they were going to use it. What were they going to do? They're going to integrate it from your old file. They said, I read that this week.
Oh,
They said
sweet.
for Shadow of War,
Right.
if you had all your old data from Shadow of Mordor will roll over.
Well, that's good because, you know, I guess with, I think they're going to have like 6 different, either orc or what do you call them, Uruks? Is it?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I think they're going to have like 6 different tribes. So, I don't know. That'd be cool. It would be interesting to see how everything plays out in Shadow of War with what I have left over, you know,
Right.
after it's all done. How
But-
many hours did it take you to complete that?
I want to say somewhere in the 40 to 50 hour range because I know I put in a lot of time, but it wasn't. I didn't feel like it overstayed its welcome.
Right. I don't feel like that either.
And I even did the DLC on top of that too. So I felt like I got a good bit in and still was kind of hungry to go back, but I was done. And usually when I'm done, I'm done.
Right.
But I
right.
still wanted to play it.
I noticed that they had the Game of the Year edition out for $3.99.
Yeah.
Like I'm fixing to just go take mine back in and trade it. I think you can get like $15 for it still, and then you pay $3.99. That's like a 100% mark. You get like 100% profit on this game.
I mean, it's not a bad deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. Plus, you get all that free downloadable content. You know, so. But that game is just like I said. Why has nobody used the Nemesis system in something else?
I don't think anybody's figured out how to integrate it properly yet.
know, I
Because
don't
for
know.
that game, it was unique.
Dude, think
and worked
about
for
like Mad Max.
Yeah.
If it had a Nemesis system, those open world games like that would. Even you don't have to do it exactly the same, you know. But
Hell, you could do it with something like. Do you remember the old Godfather game that they did?
Yeah.
It would have been perfect in that. Mob families and stuff like,
like
that.
Mafia 3. I know there's something like that in Mafia 3, not like the Nemesis system, but I know you have like these bosses that take over different areas or districts, and I guess you give them jobs to do, and if one of them feels like you've handed more stuff to this guy, he might rise up against you, and then you got to decide to go in and kill him.
Right.
If that game didn't just blow nuts with like different problems it's had and stuff like that. I guess the story sucked too, you know. That part seems cool though.
Yeah.
What is the Nemesis system?
Okay,
For
first
people who
it's
don't
the
know.
Nemesis. Say it.
System. I can't
Say it right.
words. Nemesis
Okay.
system.
It's
One word at a time, John.
like you have captains. Like there's like a whole army, right? Uruks, orcs, whatever they're called, and you have what about 12 captains, something like that,
Something around that.
and then you have 4 or 5 war chiefs.
Something like that. And I think it's 12 generals and then 6 war chiefs because
Captains.
captains
Okay.
because it trails downward.
Right, and I think like they have like lines. And
Yeah.
the back line before the
It's
war
like
chiefs are like legendary, and they're
Yes.
stronger. But okay, say you're playing and you run into these captains. Well, dude, it has a little cinematic, and they try to cut you down. They talk, say all this shit, and then you fight. Well, you kill it. There's an open spot left, and there can continue to be open spots until you die. Now, if a captain kills you, they move up in rank. When they move up in rank, they'll end up getting like better armor, and they become more powerful. And then the whole time that whenever you die, all of a sudden like all these other spots get filled in, so more captains come in. So every time you die, there's that consequence, especially if a captain kills you. And you'll start fighting the war chiefs. The war chiefs have 2 bodyguards. I don't know, it's just it breaks down like that. It's really freaking cool. And when you run into them in battle, they'll remember you. They just come out of nowhere. I had 3 freaking captains on me at one time.
Yeah,
Other
they
night.
seem more aggressive too because
Yeah.
they've killed you before and they want to do it again.
Yes, and they're like, if I knew you weren't going to stay dead, I'd have killed you slower. I think that's really mean.
It is.
It's mean.
very, very mean.
Yeah, I don't agree with it.
What about you, John? You been playing anything?
Friday the 13th. Just been playing it.
I've been
Really
playing
like
Saturday
it.
the 14th.
If somebody else would get Friday the 13th, we could start,
would.
growing our
Hey, if
group
somebody had
here.
internet besides HughesNet,
Totally not a sponsor.
no,
Not a
they are
sponsor
not. I
at
would not
all.
take their money. I would give it back. Go take this money and fix your internet.
Well, I was playing Dead Island for a little while. I've never played it, and I kind of got bored with it.
Love that game.
I
You
got
don't like it?
I got to a point where it was just I felt like I was doing the same thing over and over, and it was just getting monotonous, and I was
Yeah.
like, I'm getting burnt out.
It's funner with a friend. I played it with a friend.
Probably
on
yeah.
PlayStation 3. It's
But
great that way.
I got probably to chapter 11, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. Either that or I just need to take a break.
Did you make it to the prison?
No, Jungle was the last place I got.
Oh, dude, the prison is crazy, and they're just all it is runners in there,
Wow.
and they're just running straight at you.
I mean, I might go back to it at some point. It's just I needed a break, and then I picked up Adrift yesterday.
Oh, how was
today.
that?
It's interesting. The controls of it all are a little interesting.
Right.
I don't want to say they're bad. You just have to get used to them because everything is based around gravity and how you're traversing through space, floating around doing nothing. So you have to be. It's easy to lose track of where you are if you're not paying attention.
Right.
And I really feel like I actually looked it up to see why this was not a VR game.
That's what I was gonna say. They
Because
missed
it
the boat on
should
that.
be. I mean,
Yeah.
but it's not for PlayStation VR, but I think it is for Oculus.
I think I remember them demoing it at E3 a couple E3s ago
And
on Oculus.
It seems like it would be a perfect fit for it, but I could also see where it could be very intense because if you're spinning around, you probably get motion sick very
I
quick.
wouldn't.
So that's just my opinion.
I get sick when I sit still. I don't get sick in the VR helmet. My VR hat.
It's because he's got that crappy internet. He hasn't played any real games on it.
I play single player. Shut up. I have no choice but to have that shitty internet.
For now.
Yeah, and it's like
Maybe you'll look
$90 a
out.
month. Let me break this down. $90 a month gets you 15 gigabytes. They act like it's a damn cell phone. And then you go to bed after the 25th, we pay the bill, and then everything starts over. You go to bed on the 16th, your cable box updated and took all your damn gigabytes, and you get up and shit don't work. Takes like 20 megabytes, download a game, 20 megabytes. Oh, that's going to take you 30 minutes. I had one said it take 99 plus hours. It was like 245 megabytes. I was like, what in the hell?
You go to Sprint.
As you can all see, Todd is a huge fan of HughesNet.
I don't even want to start with him. If he was here, if Mr. HughesNet was here right now, wouldn't be pretty.
They would not have a decent conversation.
I would talk to
Be a lot
him
of
so
yelling.
bad.
All right, well, let's get into some news that I've looked into. Maybe you've looked into.
Sound effects.
Was that your sound effect?
Woo!
That's-
Part Bobcat Bart siren.
A Bob Siren?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't do that again. That was just terrible.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sorry. Moment of weakness.
that's
All right.
kid.
Let's see. The first thing I got jotted down was the patch for Horizon Zero Dawn. The
Yes.
additions that they added to that seem pretty interesting. I love the new game plus idea.
Yes.
I think I love that for any game
I do too.
because if you've put in your time but you want to play it again,
And
I
with
feel
your
like
same stuff, like you get to keep your armor.
all
Love
your
that.
lives and everything like that, I feel like you should have that opportunity to go through
Yeah.
A freebie. Pretty much. If you wanna rank up, if you wanna go to the ultra hard mode like they put in here, you can do that. But if you just wanna casually go through it again, I think New Game Plus is always a great thing.
That's what I always loved about Resident Evil. I think that's the first game I can remember where you get to keep everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and just so much. I mean, you just beat the game, you turn around and you start the next game with your same level and your the Magnum and the bazooka or whatever you had at the end of the. It's awesome.
And they said, along with the ultra hard mode and New Game Plus, they've got face paint options, which they didn't really go into a lot of detail, but I guess it could be all right.
They got Insane Clown Posse face paint?
Probably. I don't know. We might have to look into that.
I wonder if there's like a workshop deal. You can download everybody's custom face paints.
Oh, that would be cool.
cool.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But there's a bunch
glad I
of
thought of
Clown
that.
Posses on there. What?
I'm glad I thought of that.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
They said that there's also some new trophies and unlockable content, but I'm not sure what they are.
I'm sure there
But
is.
it might be something
New
to look
map,
into.
New missions, I'm sure there's.
No, that's
stuff
coming
there.
with the downloadable content. And I got $15.
I would probably say if it's coming with the New Game Plus, either beat it on Ultra Hard or New Game Plus, play it again second time, something like that. But I don't know what they are, so I have to look into it.
I never got my theme for Platinum the game the first time.
I don't think I did either.
When's this DLC come out?
This patch should be available now.
Oh,
The patch is now,
See,
yeah.
if you can download it now, Todd, you might get it done by the next DLC.
It's already downloaded the patch. I said, fuck you first off. I remember, I think like just a couple of days ago, I know like the patch came through.
Yeah.
But I guess they're just now making it ready. I guess they just got it ready and now they unlocked it. I guess they had to flip that switch,
Yeah, the almighty switch.
that light switch. That they got it turned off for crossplay right now.
Right.
But they can flip that switch. Honestly, I read a thing that said that's all it really is all they have to say is okay, and it's literally like pushing a button and it would work for everybody to play together on Rocket League. I don't know about
I
other
want it to be
things.
like a fancy button. Like
Well,
a
it's
rocket
probably
ship.
got
It's
gold
the
trim.
Switch. It's got the safety switch, and you hit the
Yeah,
red
it's got the little cover.
cover.
It flips up, and you look over at your buddy, go 3, 2, 1, and you have to
two
push
of
it at
them.
the same
Two of them
time.
got to
Yeah,
hit the switch.
yeah.
Then got two people got to hit the button at the same time. Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be fancy.
Stupid John.
Anyway, also, since we were just talking about Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War, there was a story that ran this week that I read that said that the Xbox One version, or Xbox One X version, excuse me, I forgot the extra X, took less than a day to, I guess, process or to
port over.
To port over.
Yeah, to get it running. Yeah, I read something like that.
And that they're not going to have it on the Switch.
Right.
So,
that game will not run on the Switch.
Well, they said that they weren't really sure that it wasn't, that the capability wasn't there. It seemed to be more of a, hey, Warner Brothers didn't go over to Nintendo or vice versa to offer it. So they're not really sure to what degree and as to why it's not on the Switch. But I would kind of wonder if it's not that.
I don't think it would run. I think if you did put it on there, it would be... I think it would hurt the other games, the other platforms, too bad. It would cripple them because you would have to make it kind of across the board at least be able to fit, and you could only go so high, I think. Maybe that's what it is.
But they could also water it down. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't think
want that.
Nintendo's ever been a...
Gray
We've seen
blood.
watered down versions of games before. I mean, I don't know if you all recall the Ghostbusters game that came out.
How long ago was it?
This was actually using Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold
So
Ramis.
the original.
Yeah, but the version that was on, I think, the Xbox and the PlayStation 3, they had, well-defined characters that looked realistic.
And
if you went on the Wii, they were cartoonish
I remember that now.
versions of those characters.
And it's the one where you had, was that the one where you were the new recruit?
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved that game. That was pretty good. It got kind of kicked around and with the reviews and stuff, but I thought it was fun, man. How can you not love Ghostbusters?
Yeah, exactly.
I want them to put the old like Commodore 64 version. Dude, I love that. I played the shit out of that game.
I remember it on the Nintendo.
It was a lot like that, except the characters weren't fat. Like, you know how they were fat and round? And that going up that tower, you had to hit A the whole damn time or they wouldn't step. That was the dumbest thing. And nothing attacked you. You just had to walk up the damn steps.
Mm-hmm.
And then you had to, once you got up there, it was over with, am I right? It just
Pretty
showed
much,
you,
yeah.
It just show you shooting. You had to cross the streams.
Yeah,
and then
you
it
had
showed
to get up to the top of the building. That was the whole purpose of that
I think
game.
there were ghosts that come down every now and again. What little ghosts floated around, if I remember. Yeah, I've got it at home.
And that was an LGN title. Classic game makers in the day.
Yeah.
LGN.
Activision owns the rights now, don't they?
I believe so.
Man, they'll piss all over it. They don't.
Well, I mean, we've already seen what they've done with the property thus far.
Yeah. If it ain't Call of Duty, they don't want to deal with it. Do they make another game?
Who?
Activision.
They make another one?
Do they make another game besides Call of Duty? I can't.
Is
think.
there another one? Is that? Yeah. I don't think.
What else do they? I mean, like I know they own the rights to Spider-Man at one time.
Yeah, the originals, wasn't it?
But I think they
Yeah.
were a publisher. They never developed. They may have early games, but not.
Right.
They have not developed for a while. I know they passed it off to someone.
I wonder, with the new game being with Insomniac, I wonder if like their contract ran out, it went back to Marvel or Sony or something.
I know that Marvel's been pushing their own agenda here lately.
Right.
I've noticed where they're starting to make kind of their own games. I think they're really trying to make their own division.
They just closed their division down, didn't they? Disney shut their Marvel division down with when all that was Avalanche Studios. They closed that. What was that? The little characters they had, the Infinity.
Oh yeah.
They closed that down, and then they closed another studio down, I thought, or maybe it was just Avalanche. But what I heard was they was going to take all the properties like Spider-Man, like they're doing now, and give them to like just talented developers and studios. And
That's
I'm all
a smarter
for that.
way to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let the professionals handle it.
They got the Avengers with Square Enix now. They have that Avengers game coming out.
They do.
So and then Insomniac got Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I'm all for that. Dude, what if like Doctor Strange went to Naughty Dog? Could you imagine that game?
Could be interesting.
Could be cool.
Depending on what
Yeah.
they do.
That'd be awesome, I think.
Yeah.
Carry on, sir. I'm
All
sorry.
right. Well, speaking of other interesting things, have either of you heard of the Rainway app?
Is that the one
Rainway?
where you can run games in your browser?
I believe. Well, here's what I got written down.
Okay, yeah.
Andrew Sampson is the guy who developed it, and he showed it. It's a streaming app,
Right.
and he had it running on the Nintendo Switch.
I've
now,
heard about
obviously, they do not have it as a legal app,
But they will. I've heard that they are going to.
but right now it's a free app that's designing streaming from a wireless network from a computer.
Right.
And he's trying this where it's possible to have like PC games on other devices like the Switch. And he was just trying to do this. He tried other games or tried different games on the Switch to see how they would run.
What did they talk about in the article you were reading? They talk about a certain game they had running.
Arkham Knight was one
That's
that they
the
had
one, yeah.
running, and they said it was a little jerky, but it's a matter of time before they can get it
Right.
running smoothly. Granted, it's still kind of in a development phase right now. They're confident they could do it.
That's PlayStation Now. Is pretty much what they're doing.
Well,
But
yeah, I wanted to kind of get your opinions. What do y'all think about that? I mean, is that anything that entices you? Sounds interesting at all?
John, go. I'll let you go first again.
I'm just trying to figure out how exactly. What does it do?
Essentially, you could take a PC game and run it on a whole nother platform. Just stream it from your PC to
Like your PS4
your
or your Xbox?
console. Yes.
Oh.
It's gaming Netflix, pretty much. Just like,
Kind of like what the sharing thing did.
no,
on
it's like
PS4?
PlayStation Now does.
Oh.
Like, you can share from your PlayStation. You can get the app on your computer and play PlayStation games on your
Yeah.
computer.
Mm.
And I was in the beta for it. That's real early on. I haven't played it now, but from what I understand, is it's better, but it still has its problems, and it all depends on your network. I mean, it's streaming a game. There's no download, and you click a button, and you're playing the game.
Mhm.
I did.
So
I
you
think I
have-
did Riptide.
So you definitely can't play with your crap internet.
Yeah. Once again, John.
I mean, I'll be honest with you, it doesn't really entice me at all.
It's kinda
If
like
I
what-
wanted
No.
a PC game, I would get a PC.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
I get the
there is not that
appeal
many-
of it though. I do get the
Yeah.
appeal of it, so I don't have to worry about playing a PC game.
Right.
I can play it on my TV, but I don't care.
there is not enough. I mean, honestly, there's not enough computer games to make me want to go play those.
You
games.
would be surprised.
There
I
is
mean, I know there
Yeah.
is, but I know there's a ton of games. Don't get me wrong. I know that they're there,
Mm-hmm.
but I look at a list and I just don't look at a list and think, oh, I got to play that game and I got to play that game.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I guess I'm agreeing with you. It doesn't entice me.
Exactly. Yeah. I don't. Maybe something eventually will come around to where I want to do it, but right now I don't really care. Another interesting tidbit came out this week.
A tidbit.
Tidbit.
Is that the Sumo Digital's design director Gareth Wilson was praising Xbox One X for its power. And if you don't know who Sumo Digital's...
Little Big Planet 3?
They did. Little Big Planet 3, Sonic and All-Star Racing Transformed, because that's a great game, right? And then right now they're doing Crackdown 3 for Microsoft.
Yeah, they're like a journeyman. You know, they did like you said, Little Big Planet 3, but like that's the first one they've done in a while. It was a good game though.
But he was quoted in saying that there's a night and day difference between the X1X and the PlayStation Pro.
Well, of course there is. I mean, I wouldn't say night and day. I would say probably in the architecture, yeah. But let's be honest, like you have 12 gigabytes of RAM compared to 8, where you have 8 total on there, you know, to use with games where you have, I guess, 4 to 6 on the Pro. I can't remember the exact number.
Something like that.
But 4.2 teraflops, I guess, to 6 teraflops. I don't think there's a big jump there. I guess you're not going to be able to use all that power for a game unless it's only coming out on Xbox One X. But at the same time, it's got to be able to turn around and run on the Xbox One. So until they say, I'm not making this game right here for the Xbox One, it's never going to be the full potential. I mean, that's the same thing that's happened with Sony and all their consoles throughout all of the PlayStation 3 life cycle. You know, you had a more powerful console, but everything was built from the ground up to run on the Xbox 360 and then ported over because it had to run on the 360. So you're not going to see those games unless, like I said, it's coming to Xbox One X and that's it.
Right.
But yeah, I agree. It's a better console.
It is a beast. I mean, we can at least admit we do know the hardware is beastly, but it's like you just said, it's gonna take something to really make it shine, and it's gonna have to be something built for the system originally from the ground up for it.
It's not gonna be Crackdown 3 because I'm already just kind of pissed that the destruction is not in the single player game. Why? That's stupid. An idiot. And I think it's all Sumo Digital's fault, or whatever their name is. Sumo, it's their fault. Is that Sumo Digital, right?
Yeah, Sumo Digital. Another thing I saw, and this is just this is more of a blip than a tidbit. I don't know if you saw that the director of Killzone Shadowfall left Guerrilla Games, but it did seem like it was amicable. It was not, anything major. He just said after 12 years, I'm going to try something new.
Right.
So he's leaving, but. Good on him, I guess. If he's going to move on to something
better.
Good
luck, sir.
Good luck to you.
One of the 5 people that listens to this, tell him, good luck, sir.
Yeah, you're out there. You know who you are.
Yeah, you know this guy.
Then there was Michael Pachter.
Patcher. Is it Patcher or Pachter?
Pachter.
He's a turd.
I'm sorry.
I like the guy.
He's got his opinions, and he's
usually wrong.
He can be right. He was right.
He was right about the Wii U, yeah.
But he was kind of throwing his 10 cents on the PS4 the PS5. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
He thinks it'll come out in 2019. Believes it will be backward compatible with the Pro.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't that be the same as the PlayStation 4?
Yeah. Well, no, it wouldn't because the Pro is it's twice as strong as the 4. I mean, you're talking about.
But there are no games that are specifically Pro.
No, there's not.
So
that's a good thing. Yeah. I really think. I mean, it all depends on how good the Xbox One X does. At $499, I think you're going to struggle out of the gate. The hardcore fans are going to buy it, and that's it for right now. But later on, I think they're setting themselves up. You get 1 million console Xbox One X sold, right? 1 million of them. Eventually, we're going to the next life cycle, right? They go. Cut off Xbox One X. Now cut off Xbox One. No more games for them, right? Mm-hmm. They're specifically made for this going forward. Well, you're already set up to be in the next generation, and you have 1 million consoles in the wild. But I don't know. That's just me. I don't think they could. Do you think they do that? Do you think they pull that? I mean, because then you kind of shit on the fan base and that has the Xbox One.
I don't really see them doing that.
So you think they're going to jump to, when the PS5 comes out, they jump ahead and make another console?
I think, they're already kind of doing that now. I mean, they could have waited to see what, Sony's move is going to be to try and counter it, because that's always kind of seemed to be the norm over the years. You've got two consoles that seem to come out around the same time, like competing to see who's going to win. Now it seems to be one always jumps the gun, and then everybody else is like going, okay, what are they doing? All right, we'll do that, and then we'll just make it better. And, I mean, the Switch is already kind of, we see what it's doing. Now, Scorpio or Xbox One X, whatever the hell you want to call it.
They should have stuck with Scorpio.
Scorpio is so much cooler. So much
like Morpheus and all that stuff. Like I wish they would leave those names the same, but they don't.
But I think at least in this launch possibility 2019, it gives Sony an edge.
I don't think they'll rush it, really.
No, because they can sit back and just watch to see what the Scorpio, I'm going to call it Scorpio, it's better, will do, and what they can do to improve on it.
Right.
And then they can just up the ante and make it cost effective.
Right.
Because if they don't, they're not going to be in any better situation. If they slap a $500 price tag on something,
they're not. You won't see that from Sony again, I don't think.
Because they learned their lesson.
Well, I think
$600.
You had different management at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Boom, the recession hits at the same time this console comes out. People retire. People get shifted around. Kaz Hirai takes over. He's real. I think he went to school in America, and he's real kind of hip to the Western kind of style. Because, like Japan sits out there and kind of stays on their island. We do things like this in Japan. They run their business, a global business, like they do in Japan, So he came in and said, we're going to do it like this. And for the better part, I think it's worked. They've climbed out of that hole that they were in. They sold off their computer, business. And they got the message right for PlayStation. Like they didn't jump the gun. They said, we're going to wait and see what the Xbox does, right? Well, saying that, they jumped out in February and said, this is PlayStation 4. It's coming this day, or we don't know when it's coming, but this is PlayStation 4. This is what it's going to do. And I think at the same time when they did that, they got the message right, and Xbox was like, oh, shit. They said we had time. So then they wait, and they bring theirs out a few months later. They talk about it, and they get the message totally wrong. Talk all this TV stuff. They've always done that, it seems like. Add all this stuff in, and they don't want it. When you buy a console, you want game, And that to me, they messed that up. So I don't see PlayStation, when the 5 comes out, them rushing it.
Right.
They're going to take their time.
Yeah, I think they'll do all right. The last two little bits I've got here, I guess it's more of an opinion, whatever you want to take away from it. I think this is kind of ridiculous. Apparently, Variety Magazine mistakenly took a screenshot from the PlayStation 4 version of Spider-Man and credited it as a scene from Spider-Man Homecoming.
I heard something about that.
Now, granted, the news story that's going around is like, oh, look how awesome the pre-rendered graphics are for this game. They're just being mistaken for movies. I'm like, no, I think Variety are just a bunch of dumbasses who just got their
totally
shit
different
wrong.
Outfit.
They just Googled it and they just picked the first thing they saw.
Yeah. That shows that they didn't even do research because, like you said, different costume. And
I mean, it's obvious when you see it. It's the big white spider right there.
That's clearly not the same costume by any means. But I felt like it was a ridiculous story, just like the next one I have.
Please tell me what it is.
Because why is this a big deal? I read this headline and I just rolled my eyes. Nintendo finally answers. Is Mario human?
What?
He's a
because in Super Mario Odyssey, he's walking around New Donk City with these human-sized humans, and he's still sitting here.
Man, he's Danny DeVito.
Well, you know what?
Is Danny DeVito human?
That's kind of what they, brought to it. They're just like, so why is he so different? And what the developer was like, there are many different people in the world,
Idiots.
Why is that such a big deal?
Why do you have to answer this after 25 years?
I don't know. I even saw a game theory that actually broke it down beautifully to say this is if you just want to get into the details of it, because it's just irritating you to no end,
Right.
thinking that he's just not human. Look at it like this. He's in a city called New Donk City, which is based around Donkey Kong.
Right.
They eat bananas constantly. Bananas can make you taller, they make you grow, so the people around here can essentially be giants.
And he's just visiting the place.
Regular 4'5" or whatever the hell.
New Donk. I think they should have called it New Dong City.
That's right.
It's one letter off.
Well, they had that ad come out this ad. I don't know why I called it an ad. An article come out this week about everybody's tripping out about the one gray hair in Mario's head, that he's getting older. But when you look at it, it's obvious that it's the hair at that certain spot is parted a little bit, and you can see the white background behind it.
Which, they should be more enthralled by the idea of all the fine lines between the hair.
Yeah, I mean, I looked for an hour. I'm like, I don't see the single gray hair. And then I start looking, and I'm like, are they talking about this? It's in his cowlick.
Yeah.
And it's just right there. It's obviously the white background. So Nintendo goes into PR mode and damage control about this. And no. Mario is 28 years old. That's what Miyamoto said. He's only 28.
Because it's such a big
age
deal.
Matter?
Jesus.
I mean, Jesus.
It doesn't. It's a game.
That's the thing. Who gives a damn about how old he is? I don't give a shit if he's
It's just a
75.
game, people.
Yeah,
God.
how old's Mickey Mouse?
Yeah, no kidding.
They don't ask that about why is he running around with that little duck? He's like 80. He doesn't need to be going down that
With
slide.
no pants on.
Why is the size difference between them and Goofy? I mean, look at Goofy. He's tall.
Is Goofy a dog? No, wait. What is Goofy?
Yeah, because you got Pluto. Let's just start into that debate.
Yeah.
You got
Yeah.
dog slaves and dog regulars.
No, we don't call them slaves.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Pets.
That's
Pets.
pets. There you go.
And
It's terrible.
Pluto just got the shaft because he's not as smart as
Pluto. I met Pluto, and Pluto's a sweetheart.
Pluto Nash?
Mother. Pluto, the real damn Pluto, in Disney World. He is a sweetheart. He signed a book for my little girl. It's so nice.
Well, I'm glad you had fun meeting Pluto.
Snow White was hot.
Well, that's all the news I got. You guys got anything?
No, I just talked about it. I was kind of pissed about the whole Mario thing. There's no news out this week except about how beastly the Xbox One X is, and it's an overkill of power, which I agree, it's overkill.
My thing about that is, if it's so powerful, why didn't they just wait and call it the Xbox 2?
That was me.
Yeah.
Why didn't they just you bring
Because-
out the Xbox One S, it does all this stuff. It has the HD Blu-ray high def thing,
with a Pro. Like, who was really jumping through hoops to get a Pro? Like, it's.
I honestly think the VR pushed that because it worked. The VR does look a little better with that and works a little better. So
because it's in your face.
That was, I mean.
no, I'm saying it. Have you messed with the VR at all much?
No.
Okay, it is when you have it in your face. It looks like you're looking through a screen door.
Right.
There's a screen
That's
door
what I'm
effect.
saying. That's why everything
It's not
looks
as-
better, 'cause
it's not
there,
as-
into your face.
Bad when you have the process power inside the Pro helps that.
Yeah. All right,
And
that's cool.
I don't know, it just everything moves more fluid in there. It seems like it does improve that experience, and I really think that's what pushed it. But I think you're really going to start seeing that. It's going to be like cell phones.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that if it's not a full-on generational jump, and it's the same. Like they really got the pricing right on that. I mean, I think that's where Microsoft's made their mistake this time is the pricing of all this. Not the hardware and the timing and the messages, the price. They have screwed themselves on price. They should have learned from Sony. Sony screwed themselves with the PS3 until they got their head out of their ass.
Hmm.
And then you seen like I think at the end they did the PS3 not take a lead and
Yeah,
beat the Xbox
at first,
Xbox 360.
Yeah, at first it was not doing well.
No.
I mean, it was,
Yeah, it was expensive.
losing to the Wii. But
Yeah. Well, the Wii beat all of them.
Yeah,
it was
but
the
eventually,
cheapest one out of all of them.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to talk with your wallet.
yeah.
Everybody does.
But I'd say the PlayStation 3 got a better reputation by the time its console life was over.
Right.
People
Well,
could
the
look back
games
on it and
came.
be like, "Wow, this was a good console." A lot of the stuff that it had.
Well, it's
on it.
like we were just talking about with the Xbox One X. When they started making the games for PS3 and it wasn't going to be anywhere else, people started buying into maybe there's something here, and you started seeing the first-party studios really shine for PlayStation. You know, that's just something that Microsoft cannot compete with them on. They can make the best hardware they want all day long. They don't have the studios. But maybe one day, I hope one day they do. I hope one day I got to have that Xbox because their first party studios have this, and this. Gears of War, Forza, and Halo are not my cup of tea. They're great games. They're just not my cup of tea. John, no Bobcats this week.
No Bobcats.
What do you got on your little cell phone
I got a new
device?
early access game.
Is it better than... You have to read it like SOS.
I can't. It's way too long.
Dick.
It's way too long.
You are... Dude,
By the way, we got it wrong last time. Little side note. It was Escape Plan, not The Great Escape.
I know. I found the same one. I was like, oh, we missed it. I swear I was thinking about that while I was looking through the store.
So there you go. There's a correction for last week.
But wait just a minute, because I just set you up, John, to read and just be epic. That was epic last week.
It was.
And
it was cool, but
you just come out of the gate and embarrass me again.
All right, man. All right.
Every week.
Let me find the website and see if they got a little short description like the...
Do you have the Please play the Jeopardy music at this point.
See if the website has got a short description of it, because if it don't and it's long, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not reading 30 minutes.
When I hear this podcast while I'm cutting the grass next week, that better be Jeopardy music.
You're a look. There's no description. That's super short. And then
What is the game?
website doesn't even have a description.
What's the game called?
The game is called Die Young. Not to be confused with the Kesha song, which will, if you type in Die Young, it'll pop up Kesha. It's a song she sung a couple years ago when she was hot.
Now know that because you looked it up just now.
No.
You didn't know
I knew
that
when I
before.
first started doing research on this game.
Then you listened to Kesha, which
Yes,
is
I did.
equally as bad.
If you go on my YouTube right now, it's got like every single song she's got. Yeah, I listen to them. Anyways, the game is Die Young, made by... it has the Unreal
Kesha.
Engine 4.
Kesha made it. Who's it by?
Huh?
By who?
It is by Indigilas.
Oh my God, Indigenous.
Indigilas.
Indigalas.
He probably butchered it
Indigala.
way worse than I did. But
Indigalas.
anyways,
It's what it looked like. Indigala.
yeah.
Okay.
All right. You know what? INDIEGALA''S.
Wonder what they've made before.
I've looked it up and I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyways, it is a survival game that, hang on. No, I thought I could find it. No, it's a survival game. You're a pretty lady who goes out with her friends, and in the little intro cutscene, they're all wealthy. They all do dangerous stuff. Drugs was one of the things they done.
John.
It said
I
it.
can't play this.
She didn't say it, but it told them doing a line of cocaine. And she's like,
cocaine?
Cocaine. Said, I used to party hard. But then we went to the island and everything changed. Anyways, you're a very attractive young lady. Goes to an island with her friends because they're all wealthy.
All of them.
All of them are wealthy.
Her name's Muffy.
Huh?
Her name's Muffy.
Actually, it did say her name, but in here somewhere. But you got to watch the video on the trailer. The trailer looks pretty badass. They got two trailers. One of them's really cool, and the other one's just kind of cool.
It's just really cool. The other one's really cool, and that one's just really cool.
I said kind of cool.
Kind of cool.
Kinda.
Anyways,
hot lady gets trapped on an island with looks like one serial killer who looks to be about 7'10", 500 pounds. He's a monster, and he has a couple Rottweiler dogs that he keeps running around the island. And it's a pretty good size island.
they call him Mr. Jangles.
Size. Huh?
They call him Mr. Jangles.
They call him. He doesn't have a name.
How you know?
Because there's no name on here. What are you talking about?
If you're going to describe a game to me, I need you to have more information.
Anyways, he runs around with a sack over his head, and he has a giant sickle. And I mean giant. It's bigger than the girl. It's a giant sickle. I don't know how either, it's trying to be realistic, but when you got a sickle that size, not really realistic.
He's got to be careful with that thing.
He does, but he's like 7'10", weighs about 500 pounds. Not even joking.
Okay, so
fat muscle.
Does it
He's
look
got some of
good?
that 1920s fat muscle going on.
You seen the video? Does it look good graphics wise?
Well, I mean, it's
out over
early access. So you can get it on Steam right now for $14.99. Not sponsored. Yeah, you can get it, play it. It's they're still working on it. It's coming to all consoles, all
Okay.
of them. Xbox, PlayStation, computer, probably
Timetable?
Switch in about 10 years. Yeah, looks pretty fun.
Yeah, I really liked your SOS
It's-
escape plan.
Yeah, I
What
know,
was it called?
but this
Great Escape.
This is
The Great
fairly,
Escape.
It's a fairly new game, and there's not really a lot to read about it, so I can't do my marvelous.
If they don't give him anything epic to read, how is he supposed to read
I
it
know.
epically?
I mean, you could have read it like you were a beautiful woman. You could have read it like that.
We can watch the video.
They can't watch it. We're gonna put this on our Facebook page.
Yeah, it's there's some people saying it's similar to the game We Happy Few. Y'all know anything about that?
I've heard of that, but
The
I've never seen
name
it.
does ring a bell,
Yeah.
but I don't know
Anyways,
anything
it's
about it.
similar to that. Some people saying, but yeah, you're a lonely chick trapped on an island trying to find her friends and escape. That's the gist.
That's the gist. Now,
The gist.
is
You
it,
know, the chick's got some parkour skills. She can jump from building to building.
she
Do
has
a
to
little,
take her high heels
little-
off?
Huh?
She has to take her high
She's
heels
actually
off?
barefooted.
Is she?
She is. You can
She's
look down and
brave.
see her boobs. That's like a big
Boobs?
thing. Yeah, her
Boobs?
Boobs.
Boobs. Breast.
Are you deaf?
I'm making sure it's what you said.
Boobs.
Nice.
Boobs. And she's barefooted. I'm sure you can upgrade her attire, get her some shoes, some armor, some pretty crappy weapons like a knife or an axe or a hatchet, whatever.
That's laying around the island.
That's laying around the island because, the big guy can't have the only weapon on the island. Yeah, it's an escape game, and it looks pretty fun. It's early access, but, I'll check it out.
So, okay. Is it like everybody plays as one of the friends?
No, it's a single-player only game.
Wow.
So you can play it.
I could play it. I probably couldn't download it.
It'll take you 3 days to download, but you can
Yeah.
play it.
Unless it happens on the 25th,
Yeah.
whereas I can download it that day.
From what I've read, it's early next year is what they're saying, but you know how that goes.
What's the early talk about it? Like, everybody like it? Or
It's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam.
nice.
So, that's got to mean
people's
something.
pretty honest about it on there. If it sucks, they let them know about it.
Yeah, they'll rip it a new one if it's
I
terrible.
remember, was it No Man's Sky? The first week it was just like good, and the next week it got everybody wanted their money back.
0.1 star.
Yeah, but it had like an 8 or a 9 the first week.
Yeah.
But that's
You were in awe of its awesomeness.
I guess that
It
is
was
the
an
good
awe.
thing, because I remember buying Alien Colonial Marines. I should have known when Adam Sessler said, 1 out of 5 on what was that show they used to do?
X-Play.
X-Play.
Yes.
Yeah, I sit there and I literally watched the review for that. I had to go pick up my copy. It was on hold, and he goes, "Look, this is terrible. The game's awful. Don't get it. 1 out of 5." Morgan Webb says 1 out of 5, and I go buy the game anyway. And I agree, that game was so shitty. I mean, it was
Didn't
horrible.
it have a cool little Easter egg with a
I
donut?
didn't play it long
No.
enough. It was
No,
that bad.
I didn't either. I played
It
it,
was-
for a few minutes and I was like, no.
Did you get to the point where you was in the suit?
I didn't get very far at all. I got so fed up with it and I was like, no, I'm done. I'm shutting it off.
I killed the damn alien, and then I couldn't even get out of the scene. I was like, "Are you kidding me? I'm done." I cut it off and took it and traded in.
Those are classic
Kind of like
games.
Resident Evil 6 was the same way.
Classic
It got a
games.
2 out of 5 on X-Play. I still bought the damn thing, and God, it was terrible.
All right, guys. We're going to get to our very first special guest.
Woo! Special guest.
Now, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about this, but I know a space cat.
What?
I know a space cat, and he does streams on Twitch.
A space cat can stream.
A space cat that does streams on Twitch.
Is he from space?
I would have to see it to believe it.
Or is he
Well-
here on Earth?
I'm gonna introduce you to the space cat from Twitch.
Where's he live at?
In space, obviously. I'll let you talk to him.
He
Guys,
got
I'd
using
like
it
to
over
welcome Epleb to the show. Epleb, welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo.
Hey, thanks guys. How's
Hey.
it all going today?
Going good.
We're doing
Right.
pretty well.
I have a question. What galaxy do you live in?
Andromeda 5G.
Nice.
But I traveled over here from Sagittarius A, which is the black hole in the center of your galaxy. I traveled through that to get here, of course.
So that's how you
just
get around
faster.
black holes.
Well, it's just faster.
I agree. I agree.
Now, what made
You guys
you?
are all theorizing about it. It's just a human concept.
No, why did you settle on Earth? Let's just put it that way.
well, our spaceships broke down.
Ah,
Damn.
so
makes
just
sense.
matter of happenstance.
So they have Pinto spaceships.
Well, it was a long time ago in like the biggest litter box we had ever seen, and we found this big river that we could also drink out of. So we landed our giant triangular ships right there in the sandbox next to the river, so we could drink water and then go pee in the sandbox.
Would that be the beach?
Somewhere you guys call Egypt.
My dad's a TV repairman. He's got all the tools.
Anyways, we easily subjugated your entire race right there. You just started worshiping us from the start. So it was just easy in.
Cool.
Easy subjugation of the entire human race. You don't even realize it. Anyways, we're here to talk about video games, not space cats.
So why are you? What brought you to Twitch exactly?
Oh, well, Twitch is a great place to just broadcast the medium of video games in general. Everybody needs to hear about what games they could be playing, what games they aren't playing, and what games that definitely aren't worth playing. And
Right.
it's I like to feature a little bit of all of those in my streams if you ever catch any of them.
Well, I've definitely caught a few. I'll definitely try to push it to them. And anyone else listening, you need to check out Epleb on Twitch. While we've got you here, we want to talk about a topic that I think is something you've probably got a good opinion on based on some conversations we've had. And I know that we have a few opinions of our own, and that is the state of the gaming industry itself. I know that it's kind of in disarray right now. It's not what it used to be. So, Epleb, in your opinion, what would you say the state is now compared to, say, 20 years ago?
Well, in my opinion, I speak from sort of the PC side of the conversation because that's what I mainly game from. But I see it as just entire shambles. Like, nobody knows what they're trying to do because a lot of restrictions are held back from a lot of the consoles. Like, PlayStation 4 is just inadequately underpowered for the games that it's trying to run, and Xbox is trying to push their Xbox One X, but aren't they saying that it's supposed to be no, that was just hearsay, that it was supposed to be an upgradable machine. But from what I understand, that could still be a thing where an upgradable console might still come out onto the market. I mean, that's just pushing it right into PC territory itself, so why not just go for PCs in general?
Right, exactly.
That was the early assumption from Phil Spencer that they were going to do an upgradable console, and then he quickly got rid of that idea, and then they brought out the Xbox One X.
But also, speaking from the PC's perspective, you get about 4 times the power from a PC machine rather than you would from a console, and you only pay about twice the price, maybe. So it's twice the price for 4 times the power. I mean, the math's not too hard.
Yeah.
I've always kind of been drawn to consoles, I guess, because it just seems the ease of them. You just buy them, you pop in the games, you go, versus the complications that could come with a PC because there are requirements that you have to have. But I think services like Steam and GOG, they've kind of eliminated that.
Yeah, most of those are generally eliminated. If you're going for the higher end games, it's the pro developers these days usually set it down on the settings because they kind of have to for the consoles, so you can run your games pretty easily on lower end spec machines these days. But that day will soon be coming to an end, of course, when you're going to have to upgrade to the 900 series in the GeForce graphics card, or even the 1000, But I still don't see that day coming for a couple more years, not until the consoles decide to actually upgrade theirs. But the Xbox One X is still doing everything that a PC can do.
Right. I think that was their thing going forward. They want everything's playable on a PC, and I think vice versa. If it's in the Microsoft Store, I think you can play it on Xbox One X.
Yeah, and I kind of feel like that's it seems counterproductive in a manner of speaking, because if you can have it on a PC, why not just have it on the PC?
If you can get it on Steam, you have it forever as long as you're on your Steam.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, do you ever worry that something like Steam, and I guess this would kind of be the same with any console for that matter, because we've seen Atari and Sega go down. Do you ever foresee anything like that happening to something like Steam? Or do you think that would be
them crashing out and going bankrupt?
Right.
See, I don't foresee that happening anytime in the nearby future. And if they do go under, someone else will buy all of their assets and keep the servers running, selling video games through whatever medium that they'll be using.
Mm-hmm.
It'll just push forward into the next corporation. But saying like Steam is going to fail is kind of saying like Sony is going to fail.
Yeah,
Right.
I don't see it failing.
No, I mean,
Exactly.
obviously,
That's like saying Microsoft going under.
Yeah.
No, it's just
They have to
that's
really
kind of a ludicrous
screw
idea.
up. for that
Like
to
I say,
Really
really
stretching
a lot.
it.
Yeah.
right. No, I was just hypothesizing. I was not assuming in any way, shape, or form
He was
that.
trying to start something.
No. I just.
He was.
I mean,
and I
what-
don't mean to beat on the PC drum, but Steam does an amazing service, and they provide everything that I ever needed, and they give returns for games that I've played for under 2 hours. You know, if I
Right.
don't like it after 2 hours, I'm not going to like it, so I know to return it. You know,
And see, and I think that's.
Steam always
So
returns it.
PlayStation, Xbox can't even do that.
You can get it. Well,
Well, I
15
mean,
minutes.
that
No.
in itself is a great idea. I mean, you really can't get that on any console that I know
no,
of.
yeah, you can.
So I mean, that's great. And I'm kind of glad that you are beating the drum of Steam, because I kind of feel like we get a little biased around here, trying not to be, but it's good to have different perspectives.
Yeah.
It's good to have a good debate. So
Yes,
let's continue
absolutely.
the conversation.
I think when you get into a debate, there's something good about all of them, really.
Oh,
You can find
Exactly.
something to like about all of them.
And don't get me wrong, it's not that I've never played on a console before. I have a PlayStation 3. I gamed on a PlayStation 3 for many years. I loved the hell out of it. I went through Red Dead Redemption, Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto 5. I did the Dark Souls series. I did all of that on my PlayStation 3. I loved every freaking minute of it. But when I got my PC up and running, and then I could get all these games, I can't hold all these games anymore. It feels good, man. It feels good, and no one's going to take these games away. I don't have to trade the games in, and they're mine forever.
Right.
Right.
It's a wonderful feeling.
And I have kind of leaned more toward digital copies lately, because I do kind of like having that. If I know that I'm going to have it, it's there in my library forever. It should always be there.
Yeah.
And it's not taking up any shelf space or anything like that. It's just there. So I do like that. And Steam does afford that, obviously.
I was for that
I mean,
for a
do
second.
you know how many times you lent your games out to friends and they just never got
Yeah.
them back?
I take a picture of everybody that has a game that I give them holding the game.
That doesn't help.
I know they don't give it back, but at least I know they got it. That's the only thing. I didn't get it. Yeah, look at this picture. You got my game.
No, I don't.
So when you go back to your Galaxy, does Steam work there?
Well, video games here, you know, you have your human hands. It's hard, but you know, I make it work. Just use the claws and stretch, I guess. But it's a little bit different. It's a little more immersive.
So
I
everything's
don't think
VR.
you humans would like it very much. What do you guys like in a video game?
Well, there's a.
Do you play a video game for the graphics, or do you play it for the gameplay?
I mean, graphics is a plus.
Or do you play it for the sound? What's your appeal?
Like art style, gameplay. I love. I mean, graphics are great. Don't get me wrong, but man, if I play an 8-bit game that's got a great gameplay and an art style that's, you know, appealing to me, I can do that too.
Have you ever played a game just because you heard it was a terribly buggy game and you had to see how buggy it was for yourself?
Yes.
Yes.
No, I've usually avoided it.
It's usually in the bargain bin at GameStop. That's the ones I get.
Well, every Bethesda
Those are
game.
usually the games
buggy.
you get, the ones in the bargain bin at GameStop.
Hey. No, they're not. Some are brand new.
I would say, at least for my opinion of what I look in for a game, it's got to be a combination of things, because it can look good, but then the controls are shoddy. It could sound great, but look garbage. I don't know. It's just a nice combination of things, and you get connected to it. And it can be.
Okay. Let me ask you, did you play Uncharted?
I did.
Did you like that?
Yeah.
Okay, what was the cover button? Do you remember that button?
Is it circle?
I believe
Right,
it was.
right.
Circle.
What was the roll button?
Circle.
Right. So when you tried to go into cover, sometimes
And you would
what
roll.
would you do?
Roll.
And when you
roll.
tried to roll, sometimes what would you do?
You would go into cover.
Right. So are those good controls?
No, but they did. They did.
Was that a good game?
It was a great game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gameplay was good. The story was good, and it looked great.
Minor gripes about.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there are huge.
Tell me your gripes. I love to hear the criticisms of other games, because every gamer is just like, oh, this is a great game, and I have no gripes about it, but I want to hear gripes.
Oh no! I think everybody should have a gripe about.
Absolutely.
I could not think.
And what biggest gripe I hear about Uncharted, because I didn't play the fourth one. This is the one I'm kind of referring to. I played the first three, and I didn't like them because of the controls. The stories were great. I love the stories. I love the characters. I love the graphics, but the controls sucked. In the fourth one, the pacing was really off, from what I understand.
I think the way they did it, the pacing was more. They spent a lot of time delving into the backstory of his brother. So I would probably say that the pacing came from that, the issue with pacing, because you go from present day flashback, back to present day flashback, so on and so forth, and it can kind of be a little uneven. So I think I see where the criticisms are coming from there. I wouldn't say that
the criticisms I hear is it's like a 5-minute gunfight, then a 10-minute cutscene, and then about 15 minutes of climbing.
Yeah.
And then maybe another 5-minute gunfight.
That would probably be a little extreme.
Yeah.
But it was more cinematic. So if they felt like that they were watching a giant cutscene, yeah, I can see that.
They got a different writer on this one, actually, if you didn't know that.
I think the chick went to, was it Amy Hennig was the one that did the other ones? She went to somewhere, I think she's doing a Star Wars game now. Or she was.
And they got the writer for Last of Us to do this one.
Yeah, Neil Druckmann.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I mean, it was...
Once again, a great game. It's just... it's not perfect. No game is perfect.
There's no perfect game, yeah.
There is absolutely no perfect game. There are always amazingly great games that just go throughout time as some of the all-time greats. And I can name 10 of them off the top of my head,
Name the top 5.
Top 5?
Yeah, top 5.
Couldn't do top 5. I could just name 5 great games that are just great all throughout time.
Okay, go for it.
Well, we got Super Mario Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You got Super Mario Kart. Those are 2 great games right
both
there.
Both of those are great games.
And I'm not even a Nintendo fanboy.
But they
are fantastic.
They are great games.
They are great games. Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Grand Theft Auto 3.
Yes, hell yes.
Let's see. Half-Life.
Yep.
I would have to. I'm gonna have to step away from that one because I've never played it. So
Played
that's my loss.
You briefly watched me stream it, Damon.
I did.
But my computer entirely crashed.
That's right.
It was great. It was great. Great stream day. Let's see. Is that 5? How many died? Nate?
Yeah, that was 5.
That's 4. Yeah, all right.
Okay, well, saying that, where do you rank The Last of Us?
Doom.
Doom. Yeah.
Doom.
That's a
Doom
great
was
game.
good.
Which
Doom.
one? Which Doom though? The original or the newest?
Original Doom.
Original Doom.
Yeah, I remember
PC
playing
Doom.
that when I was younger.
Doom 2. Yeah.
Wolfenstein.
Mm-hmm.
I played the old Apogee games too, the Blake Stones and all that shit too. Rise of the Triad. That was a needlessly gory game, which they recently remade into a needlessly gory game. That plays exactly the same.
Where do you rank The Last of Us?
Last of Us is really high up there. It's a great game. It's a wonderful game. Great story, great characters, great combat system.
Yeah.
Stealth.
That's where they got their low marks.
It works.
Yeah, it works. It's just not perfect.
It works if you know how it works, but you can't really tell unless you use your super hearing, which is another case I want to bring up. Like every video game character has some kind of a superpower, and in Joel's case, in that video game, he had super sense where he could just sort of tell where everybody was.
Yeah, that was a big gripe I remember during the beta for that, or the demo and the early talks for that game.
Do you think that the game would have been different in a way?
The game would have been majorly different, if more panicky. You would have been very much more struggling. And the grounded mode shows that definitely, but grounded mode is also kind of cheap because it's just very high in low in resources and high in damage.
Right.
Yeah, I don't remember. I didn't use the little hearing thing a
The
whole lot.
instinct mode.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't use it a whole lot.
I mean, it's great for gamers to not use that by default if they want the extra challenge. If they do want the extra challenge, by all means, or if they don't want the extra challenge, by all means, go ahead, use it. I don't care. I'm not going to judge you on how you play your games.
Right.
I'm going to laugh at you silently, though.
Now I've got a question for all of you. There's not really a perfect game out there per se. There would be games that are ranked high. I know from what I've seen review-wise, and you can all disagree with me, I'm not saying it's right by any means, but I've always heard that The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is probably one of the best games ever. Like, would be one of those that ranks at the top upon many, many people's lists. What would you say it would take to make a great game perfect today? Like, what is it that it's missing in other games that would just knock it out? Like, what? Let's design the perfect game right now. What would we need to do that?
Well, I'm not even going to have to design a perfect game. Once again, there's no perfect game. I'm not even going to use the term perfect. But another game that I'm just hearing rave things about, no one ever seems to say anything bad about, is Horizon Zero Dawn. That's once again another console game, which I don't know why I'm bringing up from the PC side. But I mean,
it's a good game.
It is.
But I have certain. I agree
good.
that it looks like a great game. Once again, I haven't played it myself. It looks great. It looks like it plays great, and that's all from just programming. You know, the programmers making the game good. You know, the art and everything. I kind of see a lot of flaws and things behind it. Like if you look at the water effects in that game, it's just sort of pre-made.
I don't think they've really nailed water down yet, though, graphic-wise.
Oh, hell. Have you played The Witcher?
Yeah,
Witcher 3?
Good in The Witcher.
Okay. Well,
play The Witcher 3, and they nailed water physics down to a T.
Yeah.
Like, it looks perfect in every way, even on the console.
Yeah, that's what I played.
Console, it looks good on the console. Looks even better on the PC. Like, if you watch my streams when I play that Witcher 3, I'm just sitting there playing with water half the time. It's great. Anyways, but the perfect game, once again, just doesn't exist. Perfect game this day, everybody wants that big open world, but what is too big in an open world? Sometimes you get open worlds that you're wandering around for hours trying to just get to the other side of, when they didn't institute a proper fast travel. You know?
Or it's not populated.
So,
and I feel like they did okay with that in Horizon. There was at least a few good elements. I didn't feel like it was too big. Since we brought it, I mean, it was recently brought up. But
well, I mean, the gameplay, like he said, the controls were good, but it handled so good. It was so smooth in the handling. Had a good story, looked good. And, I mean, there were a few small gripes that I would have with it. You know, like, I mean, shooting an arrow and you couldn't go pick it up.
Right, yeah.
You know, I thought, I know it's a small gripe, but come on. You went this far to make this game look this good and play this good. Why can't you go pick that arrow up? But just, it played so well. And gameplay is a big thing to me. If I don't care what kind of game it is. If it doesn't play good, you're not going to want to spend your time on it.
Oh, yeah.
Well, did you guys see that trailer for the PlayStation 4's, what was it, Anthem? That Anthem game?
Oh,
that
yeah.
looks really good.
The buttons.
Did you guys see the PlayStation 4 trailer?
Yeah. I seen the buttons for Xbox One were underneath the PlayStation buttons.
Yeah. It was just like, boom, Photoshop, right? It was the same exact trailer that they showed at E3.
Well,
the same exact thing.
That's on EA more than Sony, because EA would be the ones that would send that to Sony.
I'm not blaming Sony at all. EA gave them that material. They were like, "Oh, here, have this thing we made for you. It looks good, doesn't it?" And Sony's just saying, "Oh, thanks. Here, publish."
Yeah.
Didn't even really look at it.
Nobody looked at it. They pulled it down yesterday, I think.
No,
but
I missed
still,
that.
It's just EA just up to their old antics again, just putting up these rushed out products of
Oh my God.
it's their marketing department, I would say, on this one.
I really hope
But-
they don't screw this game up.
It's
For real.
BioWare. I don't really see
I'm
BioWare
just
screwing
saying,
this
man.
game up.
I'm just saying. If EA's got anything to do with it, bro.
They're just distributing it.
I'm just saying. They're real good,
But
real.
Well,
EA
see, like-
is also just really famous for just shutting down their online games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there are a lot of online games out there that EA has published that you cannot play anymore because it just does not connect.
Right.
Period.
Unless it's Madden. They'll leave Madden running for 5 years.
Hey, Madden's their bread and butter.
One of their big red flags was a game recently called Spore, which was a online multiplayer game run off of the game. Not Spore. What was it called? It was a runoff of Spore, but it was called something else. I'll look it up now.
Is it called Smite? No, not Smite. That's
But anyways, they shut this game down about 2 years ago, and they have an entire list of other games that they've just shut down that you are not able to play anymore because they do not care to run the servers for it, even though it's just literally just flipping a switch to turn it on again. It doesn't cost them any money to run their servers. It's their servers, and it would be games that we could be playing again, but we can't. Everyone right now is looking at the Secret World, which is another EA massively multiplayer online game, and everybody's expecting that game to be shut down any second now. So everybody's playing it as hard as they can. That is against this EA shutting down games thing online. And now that EA has announced Star Wars Battlefront 2, what do you think is going to happen to Battlefront 1 eventually?
that's
What do you
Oughta
think
go
happened
right
to
down.
Battlefield
Probably already
2?
down. They're
You
probably
guys played
working on it.
Battlefield 1? What do you think happened to Battlefield 2? Battlefield Vietnam? Battlefield 2142? Come on. It's something that they just do. They kill your games.
Mhm.
Yeah, kind of makes sense though. Don't want to waste your time on keeping something up that's not that popular.
That's why they get voted least favorite
Oh,
company.
I ain't saying
every
no
year.
right, but I'm saying it makes sense.
There's actually a letter campaign going on to EA games to please stop shutting down their games, and everybody that's writing their letters is writing it over to the lower hands of the EA top tier guys instead of just the president. And because once again, letters, not emails, but letters, physical letters, written, mailed, envelope sent, is a lot harder to ignore than an email. An email you delete.
Oh, yeah.
Letter is something that someone fucking did and sent to you.
Yeah.
They took the time to write it out.
Once again, they just need to bring it back to the consumers. They need to stop worrying about these microtransactions, pre-order
Yes.
DLC.
Yes.
They need to stop doing all this bullshit to us that just makes us not want to buy their games in the first place. You know when last time I bought a new game was? It was probably about 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Everything else, I just wait for it to become on sale, and then I'll pick it up.
Mhm.
Because you guys have just disillusioned me so much.
Yeah, it's got to be a game I really want to play. Like, I know, but even
Last
still,
new game I think I got that was relatively new when I bought it was Doom. The new Doom,
right.
not the old Doom. That would be silly.
But even still, I mean, we can see what hype can do because
And that's a
I
big thing,
plopped
too.
down good money for No Man's Sky, and that felt like $60. It went right out the window.
See, I think
Yeah, all the games that were shown at E3 that were super hyped, I'm not hyped for. I'm hyped for other games entirely.
Mhm.
The game they showed right before Anthem called Ashen, yeah, another A with an EN on the end, just so you could easily forget it. Looked really good to me. I recommend checking out the trailer for that if you ever get the time. And
Will do.
Wolfenstein.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wolfenstein
Let's
looks good.
shoot shit. Let's
the
shoot
way they
Nazis.
did that was awesome.
Yes.
I think the social media has helped tear down the gaming industry too. Like, hype kills a game, or it builds it up, and then you get it and you're disappointed. Because it used to be word of mouth, and you had to go to school and talk to your friends,
Mhm.
and you didn't have all these, all the whole. You didn't have the internet.
You had your Nintendo
More-
power if you were lucky.
Right. It was more mysterious and kind of, I don't know, there's like a sense of wonder to everything. Now it's just everybody's played the game within the first 10 hours. There's spoilers everywhere.
Yeah.
Is it good or bad? You can't find out on your own. I don't know. It's just different that way too.
Yeah,
When I was a kid, I was that weird kid that played PC games.
Yeah, I played
Like
my
everybody
Commodore
was
64.
going, "Oh, I'm playing Mario. This game is great." I'm going, "I'm playing Wolfenstein 3D, motherfuckers. I'm shooting Nazis."
I played that game. I had an old Commodore 64 that I played a lot of stuff on too.
I had a Tandy computer before any PCs in the home were even known at the time, before Nintendo, and sitting there playing my Spider Side, my Dino Wars. They were terrible. But hey, it did the job.
They're terribly great.
That's
They
right.
were terribly great.
I remember having much
When
fun.
you
with
were
it.
a kid and you had your huge imagination right there by your side, you could make anything out of that world.
Oh yeah.
Well, guys, I'm going to move on to our retro review.
Oh, I've been waiting for this
What are
all
we
day.
reviewing?
Well, since the last two, John felt like he didn't really know them, so I tried to go.
I'm the youngest one here by far.
I tried to go into something that would be a little bit more in his wheelhouse, because I had one that I was going to talk about that was an old Nintendo game that I thought would be fun, but then I started thinking about a different genre, and which led me to this game.
It's a sex game.
No.
Oh.
How many of you remember Claymates?
Oh my God.
Claymates?
That was terrible.
Playmates.
Claymates.
You had to snow. Did you have a
Never
snow
heard
man?
of it in my life.
Oh, was
Okay.
it a fighting game?
Yes.
No. This was
Oh,
yeah.
I'm the Clay Fighter.
Yeah, this is from the same company, Visual Concepts. But
I remember Clay Fighter.
That's what I remember.
now, yeah, Visual Concepts are the ones that did Claymates and Clay Fighter, published by Interplay, which we want to get into Interplay. There's a big story there about where they came and went. Actually, did you know that Interplay was responsible for Fallout?
Absolutely.
Fallout 1
Yeah.
and 2, I think.
I have Fallout 1, 2, and Fallout Tactics on my PC. Thanks, Steam. Thanks for selling those to me for about $1.
Yeah.
But no, Interplay, they had a few games that they developed and then they even published. They went into a publishing bit. They published games like Earthworm Jim, I know was one. I remember another one I think they did called Boogerman, which would be a fun one to. Yeah, it was a foul little game.
Not Boogeyman, but Boogerman.
Boogerman. Anyway, Claymates, you are the protagonist of the game named Clayton.
Of course.
Because that's clever. Clayton's father has developed a formula to manipulate clay into animals. So a witch doctor, for some reason, wants this formula, and Clayton's father says no. So he changes Clayton, the witch doctor does, into a ball of clay, and then kidnaps the boy's father and the formula.
Shit.
So now Clayton has a little ball of blue clay who can punch, like make a fist out of this clay somehow. Has to go rescue his father. But now he has to, as he's traversing all these different worlds, he can collect these little clay balls and morph into animals.
So he's playing with balls.
Yeah. But he gets to be these claymates of his.
So this is a molestation game?
No.
It sounds like a possession game.
But you'll travel through his backyard
Oh, right in his
into
backyard.
the Pacific, all the way to Japan, Africa, and into outer space. Right up.
I know that place.
Yeah. So you find these little bits of formula lying around in the levels, and then you kind of pick them up, and then you'll turn into an animal that happens to be. Okay, I'm gonna level with you. I had a lot more nostalgia because nostalgia is a very powerful weapon.
Yeah.
You know, because I saw this as a kid because I loved the idea of this. Because I liked the California Raisins as a kid.
Yeah.
So the claymation, that whole thing, it excited me. So to actually see it in Clay Fighter and Claymates, claymation video games, I was like, oh my God, I got to play this. So it excited me more than it was. Well, to make sure my nostalgia was intact and maybe I wasn't just blowing smoke up my own ass, I went and found my old emulator and played it. I did not do very well. So I noticed a lot of issues with the game. But I'm not here to pat it and say it was perfect. It's just I'm reminiscing.
Nostalgia's a bitch.
That's right.
Yeah.
I actually liked Bubsy.
So you've got your
Play it now. You won't.
you've got your playable characters. Goopy the fish, he helps you swim.
Goopy.
Yeah, and he's not really good for anything else. You've got Uzi the mouse.
Why would you name him Uzi?
I don't know,
All the names.
but I think that goes with that whole clay thing. But he was fast, and the beauty of this game is if you actually looked at the case, like the Super Nintendo case, they had a little advertisement on it that says it was packed with Blaze processing. Now I don't know if you remember on Sonic games they had one that was Blast processing.
So they was trying to
Because
capture that.
Uzi the mouse could move 10 times faster than Sonic ever could. The only issue with it is that there was only really one spot in the entire game you could do that. Because he was so fast, but they didn't design the levels properly except for the very first level that you could really experience his speed. So it was just, the levels designs were subpar. I mean, when you really go back and look at it, it was like, what were they thinking? Because you could have developed a level around all of these different abilities.
Right.
Because Goopy the fish, he's a swimming fish, so the water levels, there you go. So if you had Uzi the mouse, who's fast, you want a speed course or something like that. There's Muckster the cat. Ep, do you know Muckster the cat?
No, that one's unfamiliar to me.
Well, he was good at
I think
climbing.
he's part of our family.
He could climb up trees, and he had this very stuck-up look about him. If you could look up a picture online of Muckster the cat.
That sounds like that would be the mouse's name, Muckster.
Well, it was not. It was the cat. And then there's Globmeister the gopher.
Globmaster.
They were reaching on that one.
He throws his nuts and
In your backyard.
and even digs into little areas.
You sure you wasn't a gerbil?
No, he was a gopher. And then the last one you had was Dodo the duck, and he could kind of not really fly, just kind of, that jump and then float for a moment, kind of move.
Princess from Super Mario Bros. 2.
Yeah.
The not quite tails move.
Right. But one thing I do remember about it that I liked, and I think this was the guy, he did music not just for this game, but he did it for Clay Fighter and a couple of other games. Charles Deenan did the music for it, and it has a very interesting soundtrack for me. I like the soundtrack. But he did music for Fallout 1 and 2, and he even did Another World, which I love Another World. And the Lost Vikings. You remember the Lost Vikings?
I've got it. Yeah.
I think that was another one that Interplay published. I don't think they developed it. But you have your main levels of the game, as I mentioned before. But I'm going to get into the names. As you have Clayton's Yard. That was the very first level.
Clayton's Yard.
Yes, Clayton's Yard.
They thought about that one for a little while.
And then Cape Claynaveral. And I'm going to skip over the next two and go to the last one because I'm going to go back to the next two just because it's worth it. The last one is Space Station Clavius. But your two middle ones are Japan and Africa.
Oh, well,
They didn't try.
there you go.
No.
They said, there you go. So, and your enemies, you fought animals in your yard and in the Cape, and then
In
when you got
Africa,
to
you fought
Japan and
Kung Fu.
Africa, it was samurais and voodoo men. If you kind of look at it, you might think borderline racist, maybe. I mean, not that they were doing, but it's those very particular designs. You're like, okay. So anyway, but the controls in the game, they were a little on the heavy side. It was a little difficult. I think I maybe beat it once, but I'm going to guarantee that I probably did it with a Game Genie.
Cheater.
Yeah. Because it was the way it was played out, and with, like I said, the level designs, it was kind of a difficult game because it was just poorly thought out. But my nostalgia brought me back to it because I was like, I remember this. It was interesting because I wanted to play it so much as a kid, but looking back on it now, maybe not.
I'm seeing a pattern. You just played stupid games.
Man, don't knock some of these games. I'm bringing them back to you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
For that.
But that was a lot of interesting fun to go back and find that. But I don't see you two whipping out an old
I'll
game.
whip it out.
I got a
Oh,
couple
the game.
at my house.
Well, see, no, just next time you come in with a game review.
I got
Because
you
I've
one.
been-
Next time I will get you one.
Okay.
I'll bring the
good.
game and the console. We'll play it before we do anything.
That's
No,
perfect.
John, just be quiet.
Well, we're going to wrap this up, but we do appreciate all of you who are listening, whether it be through iTunes, Google Play Music, or even Podbean, our new hosting website that allows you to download our podcast and listen whenever and wherever. Please feel free to like our episodes if you enjoyed them, and even leave us a comment, good or bad, to let us know how we're doing. The only way we can improve is if we know we need improving. You can also leave us comments on our Facebook page. Look us up under Super Mega Crash Brothers, like our page, and start a conversation. Tell us what you want us to talk about, and we'll discuss it on our next episode. If you want to support the show further, you can go to www.patreon.com/pencilpaperproductions to give a little money and receive exclusive benefits not available anywhere else, such as behind-the-scenes photos and videos, as well as early access to content. But, Ep, I'm so glad that you were able to join in with us.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for having me. It was great to be here.
If you need anybody to look at your flux capacitor on your ship, I can hook that up for you.
That's the wrong machine.
Oh,
yeah,
my bad.
Not a time machine, man.
Well, I thought everybody had a flux capacitor.
AutoZone does.
1.8 gigawatts. Gigawatts. A gigawatt.
Gigawatts. Get gigawatts.
Gigawatt.
Ep, before you
Humans.
go, though, I do have one thing. I think this ought to be something we do for our guests. Ep, I want you to ask John a question.
Ask
We
John.
have
Yes.
an Ask John
Anything.
segment. We don't have a question.
jeez.
Ep, you can ask him whatever you want,
Doesn't
and John
even-
has to answer.
Whatever it is.
Anything I want, he has to answer it.
Please make
Has
it
to.
crazy.
This ain't truth or dare, so you can't dare me to
Yeah,
do
Yes, you
something.
can if that's what he wants.
Because
to ask
Oh,
you.
no.
now in the last episode,
Me and my big mouth.
he informed us what a bobcat sounded like.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know.
Because that's what Todd wanted to know that, so he obliged. So what
All right, this doesn't go to John. Let's just go see the other two guys. What does a bobcat sound like?
Yeah.
What did he say it
Yeah,
sounded
what's
like?
Hellcat sound like?
Hey, listen to episode 4 at the very end.
So cheap.
All right, yeah, I guess I'll
Cheap.
have to do that.
Yeah.
All right.
But any question you want, it's all yours.
Let's see. All right.
I'm
What's the
nervous.
square root of pi?
Do you need a calculator?
Might need a calculator.
Heavy silence. Oh no.
Is it that 3.14 number?
That's pi.
Yeah, that is that 3.14 number.
What's the square
It just
root of
keeps
that?
going though.
Yeah,
jeez.
what's the square root of pi?
Dude, I don't know. What
What is
flavor is it?
It'd be like 1.5529978.
Hey, don't answer for him.
I'm just saying.
What flavor is it?
That's a good question.
That hurts my head. Just your answer. Okay. No, don't worry about it.
Thank you. Numbers and me don't mix.
Well, he tried.
Words don't mix either.
No,
You
we're
failed hard.
He did.
Hey, man. Can't hurt to ask, man. I gave you my honest answer.
What is the square root?
Yeah.
You're
Or is
just
that
gonna
my
have to
job?
ask some other space cat. We're out of time.
Cheap.
That is, he's right, we are. To any of our listeners who are familiar with Twitch, you can find Epleb on that streaming service at www.twitch.tv/Epleb. That's EPLEB, Epleb. If you could check him out, it would be awesome. Give him a follow, give him a like, everything and anything.
Any other thing you want to plug, Ep? Any other things you're on that people want to follow you? Twitter?
Follow epic streamers, including Demonic.
That is
including
right.
Lacey Finley, Wicked Beth, Mammoth EU,
Wicked
Type 1
Beth.
Soul, and many others. Just check us out, and we'll make sure you're entertained for ages.
Epic Streamers is a community on Twitch, which a lot of wonderful people, wonderful gamers, will keep you entertained for hours, so definitely check them out. Well, guys, I'm done with the show. I have been Stephen White,
You want me to go now?
Yeah, it's your turn.
I'm Todd,
I'm John.
and we have Ep.
Epleb.
There he is.
the space cat.
And guys, we will see you next time. Until then, game on.